All right, what's new was new. Back with another pick here today. Yesterday we only picked one game. There's only one game on. We got it correct. We went 1-0. Had the Clippers plus the points. They ended up losing by one. They got to be kicking themselves over not winning the game outright. Had every opportunity to. Paul George missed two clutch free throws to send it up three, but he missed both, so they're only up one. Suns had another chance of like 8 seconds left on the clock. They missed it, but it went out of bounds on the Clippers. And they had one more chance with zero point 0.9 left. And they ran an alley oop play for Ayton, and he was able to tip it in right over Zubac. I mean, if I'm just saying, man, if you had Serge Ibaka in that situation, I don't think that. I think he would have jumped a little bit higher, and I think that would have went in. So that missing Ibaka right there definitely hurt. Zubac really can't jump that high, and that ended up killing him. Great play by Ayton and great pass, man. And Cameron Payne, what a game by him. But we got the cover, so I'll definitely take it. Clippers find themselves once again down 0-2. See what happens with Chris Paul and Kawhi. We'll definitely be picking game three. In the other conference finals, we got the Eastern Conference Finals. It's the Atlanta Hawks going to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. Not many people saw the Hawks making it this far. I'll tell you what, man, out of everyone on YouTube that I've seen, I'm one of the only people that didn't completely write off the Hawks in that 76ers series. I didn't really pick either way, but I was always saying the Hawks could win the series, and if they do, it's going to be in seven. I was always saying that. Everyone pretty much wrote off the Hawks. I certainly didn't. I think they're a really good team. I think they have tons of options on offense, just countless guys you can go to on offense, and their defense isn't as bad as everyone thought it was. But I must say, in this series, I think the absence of DeAndre Hunter, who's out due to injury, it's going to be critical, man. I think this is where it's going to come back to bite them. That right there is another guy you could throw on Giannis. You're probably going to see John Collins guarding Giannis. John Collins, to be fair, he's definitely helped his reputation as a defender throughout these playoffs. He's defended pretty well. But I'd much rather see DeAndre Hunter on Giannis if I'm the Hawks. You might see a little bit of Capella on him, and I don't really see anyone else that could throw on him, to be honest. Maybe Solomon Hill, Snell, but I'd much rather have DeAndre Hunter than any of these guys. I think this is really where it's going to bite them. But for game one, I'm actually going with the Hawks. I've been picking this spot for the Hawks, in the 76ers series where they're on the road and it's a really big spread. Here we see it once again. It's -8 for the Bucks. I think that the Hawks are really getting disrespected once again by the spread. This is, the reality. The Bucks are constantly disrespecting them, pretty much saying every game they're on the road they're just gonna get blown out, and I don't see it that way, especially in game one. When you look at the Bucks game ones in this series, they really haven't played that well. They haven't shown to be a team that's gonna come out in game one and just blow you out. You look at the Heat series, they squeaked out a win in overtime. They won by, I believe, like 1 point in overtime, 1 or 2 points in overtime versus the Heat in game one. Game one versus the Nets, I believe they got blown out. I believe they lost by like 13. That was the game where James Harden got hurt. Bucks lost game one. You look at the Hawks, they've won each game one. They beat the Knicks game one. I remember that. I was watching it. And then they beat the 76ers in game one too. So you see that the Hawks come out and play in game one, and you really haven't seen that from the Bucks. They can definitely win this game. They did beat the Heat in game one, but for expecting them to just come out and blow them out, I don't see it. You can definitely tell Coach Bud is a guy that adjusts later on in the series. He's not the guy that comes with a razor sharp game plan right out the gate. I could see this. I could see a world where the Hawks win this game. And when you're gonna give me 8 points for a team that I could see them winning, I'm gonna take that all day. I could just as easily see the Bucks winning this game by 5, by 3, by anything less than 8. You're basically just expecting for a blowout if you're picking the Bucks here, and I don't see that, man. I do think the Bucks are gonna win this series. I've been pretty confident in the Hawks, but I think this is where it comes to an end. I think the Bucks are gonna win this series in 6, not a sweep, not in 5. I do think it's gonna be a tough series. I think the Hawks are gonna get a couple games, and honestly, I could see this being a game where they could get it. They could jump on the Bucks here and get a game one win. I could definitely see a world where that happens. So with that being said, I'm going with the Hawks here. Game two, depending on what happens here, I'll likely be riding with the Bucks, But for game one, I'm going with the Hawks. Definitely something to consider for the Hawks is Bogdanovich. He's questionable. Fully expecting him to play. He didn't look great in Game 7. Neither did Trae Young. That's another thing. Trae Young really didn't have a good Game 7. Fully expecting him to rebound here. And yeah, man, definitely something to consider with Bogdanovich. That makes me a little bit, weary of picking the Hawks here. But I'm hoping that he'll play and he'll be, good enough to make an impact here. So with that being said, man, I'm going with the Hawks +8. That'll be my pick. We'll see what happens.